Oh, we're already live, so I was looking at the wrong screen. So hello and welcome to another live stream with me, Rauchenwald, and with that to another episode of Daily Market Mastery. As always, before we jump into the markets, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Besides that, all the tools that I'm using, so the broker, the charting software, the strategy I'm following, and so on, all linked in the video description down below. And the one thing I truly recommend is always, if you haven't done so, go and check out the Elliott Wave Principle that you can read online for free when you're using the link in the description down below. That said, I probably by now can say that whole thing in my sleep. Even maybe I'm doing it already. I don't know. I hope you have a nice and great Friday here. We had the first snow and the weather is windy and cold, and yeah, snow is flying around a little bit. Also had to scratch ice from the car the first time. Friday is usually the day we go shopping, so one of the few occasions where I actually leave the apartment. And yeah, great. Yeah, would obviously prefer to be somewhere warmer. I can relate, or I can understand that people that live somewhere where it's warmer, like Rye, hi, great to have you here, would probably like some snow for a change or so. But yeah, if you have it every year, you kind of like at some point just get fed up with it. Yeah. Yeah, let's actually start. So we have a ±0 or so, like a break even starting to the day. Surprisingly, while GameStop moved up further yesterday, so we covered it yesterday that there are some possibilities that we go up further. And that then I'm, in quotes, at risk of having my shares called away. We actually have a downwards movement here. The question is what it is correcting. Now, yesterday we already tried to label this detailed area here, but it's a little tricky to figure out what exactly is the wave count here. So while I'm confident that we have a wave 1, 2 in here, the question then is basically which one is our third wave. So we touched or barely touched, what's the price level here? 28.82, and here we have 28.79. So we didn't touch the 438, but now we actually bounced at the 461, which would support the idea that actually might check out. Yeah, so that really might check out. So 1 second. That's a little bit of the downside of Elliott Wave Theory. Sometimes we only know what's going on after the fact. Yeah, so I think that might check out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrong button. Yeah, I know Philippines are nice and cozy and warm the whole year round. I mean, partially really hot. Yeah. So both sides kind of like have benefits and downsides. So I think I mentioned it right that I lived on the Philippines in 2014 for around a year. And yeah, it's been a nice time. Anyway, so back to that. Looking at this, considering that here we have a nice bounce at the 461.8, it is possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. No, that would need to be different. That would actually need to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1 second. Just gonna reverse here a little bit for a second. So no, that's not nice enough. That's like that's a little bit of the downside of relying on things that don't always happen exactly like that, but that are just guidelines. So okay, let's see if we can. It's tempting because we bounce here at one of the 618 levels. So it's possible that this is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. So wave 4 would then retrace down till here into this area. Similar like we assumed that it would happen here, but did not. Yeah. So, but then also, well, I could say, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then that would be wave 1, wave 2, and then where does wave 3 end? Yeah, so if that would be basically our, again, 1, 2, and then wave 3 could end here, and then we would expect from the low here our wave 5 to fall into this area, but we would still expect to have 5 waves, and we only have 3 right now. And the other option would be that it's 1, 2, 3 officially ends here, but then still we don't have, at least not on the 4 chart, visually 5 waves here. Yeah, so also tricky. But that might, let's see what auto labeling would do with this area here. So if we mark it, yeah, it says, okay, it would do this. I don't agree with that at all. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if that would be the starting point for this wave, then, and this would be wave 1 and wave 2, then potentially this would be wave 3 and wave 4, up 3, 4, and then 5 finished, maybe not finished, maybe finished, yeah. And then we'd actually have it like this. So I'm not sure I like this 100%. So like there are a few issues here with the whole thing. If this here is 3, then 4 technically could already be here, which then wouldn't work because then it would be a diagonal instead of a impulse. If this is 3, we actually have the same issue. So no, that there we always run into some violations. So that's not the case here. Okay, so for our chart, not yet resolved for us. It's tempting to think that here we hit our wave 3 because we bounce so nice on that level, and we could potentially try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 5. But we have the problem, it would need to be here, 3, 4, but then wave 5 would be, while in the target area that we would expect, it doesn't look like it's finished 5 waves. So it's not even in the target area then, yeah. So from the looks of this, as happy as for my position, or as happy as I am for my specific positions, that we're retracing a little bit, so that my covered calls have a chance of actually expiring worthless. Visually, I don't see a wave count that I would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that would be wave 1, then we don't retrace enough here at all. So that doesn't check out. 1, 2, 3, 4, but their Kennedy channeling technique would say no. So most likely, or not most likely, but what do we have here? Do we hit the 2, 6, 1, 8? Okay, 3, 6, 1, 8, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, but where's wave 5 then? I mean, that would be, if it's here, but that would then only, that might actually still track or not. So, but then this would be 3. Oh yeah, that might check. Okay, let's try this again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hi Akashi, great to have you here. Okay, now you just disappear on me, you stupid pattern, yeah. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually Kennedy channeling technique might also be happy-ish with that. I mean, we exceed our target area a little bit, yeah, I think, yeah. So we exceed our target area a little bit, but that would work because then also the retracement would then fit or not, because then we retrace here 50%, okay. And then, however, we get our wave 5 target. So depending on where our orthodox wave 4 is, that's going to be a little tricky. So do we say wave 4 is here? Or, and that one disappears. Or do we say wave 4 is basically here, which just brings it higher? Either way, we would expect them to hit the mark here. So actually unchanged from what we had before. So our GameStop prediction is 32.16 to 33.81. So unchanged here. I think this one tracks best so far. Although wave 4 here is likely, no, wave 4 would need to be here, would need to be like this. So kind of weird, but because here it would be way too short. And if we Kennedy channeling technique, not a guarantee, but a useful tool. So yeah, we have a candle closing outside, so that counts. So that would be the potential labeling here, and then we would go up. So then here we don't need the 5 something levels anymore, but we would assume that we have those here finished. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we get our wave 5, but then we also would have to move this here, and then we again have a nice overlap of the forecast here with the target area here. So yeah. So while this might be hard to label, but should, or what's the low here? The low here is 25.85 and the low here is 25.70. Okay, that's lower. So while this here is hard to label right now, because visually on the 4-hour chart, we don't see 5 waves. It looks more like one move up, one move down, one move up. Unless wave 5 ends here, so truncated. Then we'd right now be retracing this. And we retraced actually 61.8% almost. Yeah, so as A, B, C, there should still be a push down a little bit lower potentially if that is right. Yeah, again, but here we are having very, very few candles to make that assumption. But yeah, so GameStop stays unchanged, and for my position, it will turn out then, yeah, still fine-ish or not, because then what we get is we reach our wave 5, which already should, yeah, like should drag out a little bit. I mean, there's 2 waves usually tend to be equal in Elliott waves, so tend to be not perfectly equal. But if wave 5 would be like wave 1, I mean, we're already past that, yeah. If wave 5 would be like similar to wave 3, then it actually aims towards the 100% target. So, but which means like here we already have basically December 5th to December 11th. So which means that, assuming I don't still have a mistake in there on the short-term labeling, yeah, we would expect that we basically buy around December 11 or between December 5th and December 13, hit the 2618, which should mark the end of this wave, and then give us basically, so which would then be the blue wave 3 here, this one, which is the red wave 5, and which would then be followed by us retracing down the 38.2% at least, or maybe 61.8, which again should drag out a little bit, and then we get our 5th wave. And depending on how far we retrace here and so on, that still might take us, our options expire on January 17th, yeah. So that might already, I don't have the vertical line on the chart anymore. 1 second, extended vertical line, there we go. January 17th is the date, yeah, that we wait for our options to expire. So technically, if I'm right, we could see it play out like this. And then there is, so if we get a 61.8% retracement, then there is a decent chance that by the deadline, so when my options expire there, January 17th at 10, that we are still below, or again below $30. So even if we now still might get a push up, it might actually play out like this, which means there is still a chance that we don't get the shares called away. As I'm a little bit torn. On one hand, it was annoying, especially in the low premium weeks, to have the shares and only get, like, I mean, the lowest we got was $50 for a week, which again, I understand it's not little money, but it's still, considering as a percentage of the positions we are holding, it's not that much. Where it would have been nicer to have the cash available and sell put options. But on the other hand, on one hand, it would be nice to have the shares called away because it frees up all our capital. Shares get called away plus minus zero, and we made pretty much all our profit from writing the options. Whereas if it plays out like this and we actually get it to expire worthless, and especially slightly below 30 or anywhere below 30 actually, so between 25 and 30, we should be able to pocket higher premium for higher strike prices as well. And as you can see, if we, for example, were able to sell a $35 call and then the stock goes above 35, it would make a $3,000 difference in profit. So, which is definitely not something to neglect, because that's like a 20% return difference in the portfolio. But yeah, so for GameStop, things are unchanged. We have what we believe to be a bigger 1, 2, and we're currently in the third wave. And then within that third wave, we have wave 1, 2, and what we, as of today, assume is a finished third wave, fourth wave, but we still have to finish the fifth wave. And then within this pattern, we also sublabeled this third wave in a way that is fulfilling the rules. Although actually that, one second, that might actually be slightly different, because that might actually belong here. So otherwise we don't have a nice 5 wave count in this move, because here we also would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for wave 5 we can actually have a diagonal where we, yeah, that actually tracks better. So still the same thing, yeah. So visually also nicer. 3, 4, and then our target areas are also here slightly, yeah, okay. So something like this, and yeah, so from the beginning again, so we have our wave 1, 2, or based on our today's analysis, we have our wave 1, 2, and are currently in this bigger third wave. And within that third wave, we believe that we have finished wave 1, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and still have to see wave 5, after which basically will be the blue wave 3, and after which we should see a retracement down again to potentially 2789 to 2473, followed by then the blue fifth wave that should take us into January. Now that's basically our current best estimate for where we are in an Elliott Wave pattern within GameStop. Okay, so far so good. So GameStop unchanged since yesterday. I still have to check if and how I can migrate that onto our primary analysis. On another note, one thing I want to do, but I'm not sure yet how to do it, is actually to make sure that we look at multiple timeframes. We already made here and there a mistake by looking too close, so by being focused on this pattern and then forgetting to zoom out occasionally to see how the bigger pattern actually behaves. And yeah, so setting up multiple timeframes would be a good idea, but however, it would make the screen too small. I'm not sure if that, I mean, it's probably on, if somebody's watching on mobile, it probably already is a challenge to see what's going on the chart. But if I then would split this up in, I don't know, two charts or even 4 charts that are visible at the same time, so it would have a monthly, weekly, daily, and a smaller scale chart, then it probably becomes too cluttered. Or not, yeah. By the way, if I sometimes forget that we also have our moving averages here that we can use to count waves, and there we would also point towards 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is that hill here, followed by correction. And then before that, we would basically have, here it's harder, we might need to zoom in to get that. Let's see if we can. So that would be this area here, where we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So actually the smaller labeling would suggest, yeah, that changes our labeling a bit. Annoying, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So the moving average would suggest that the labeling here is actually slightly different and looks like this, which would then affect our overall pattern as well, because then this would only be wave 1. Although visually we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think our old pattern makes more sense that this is a 5-wave move up here. Even then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they subdivide much better like this, yeah. So the moving averages here are not that accurate, or not, yeah. Can ignore that slight discrepancy. Yeah. So what does that mean? I mean, well, it's possible that the upwards move in GameStop already finished here, and I just have a mistake in my lower wave count. It means that based on the current wave count, I believe that, well, we could have a move further down here as a correction, I actually consider it more likely that we still get another push up, as said, into the area of 32.16 to 33.81, and then from there would get our retracement again back below 30, and then take it from there. Anyway, moving on, let's reset let's manually reset the scaling here so that things look the way I need them to be to recall everything a little bit. Save that. Okay, moving on to Barnes & Noble Education, where we are waiting basically to get the upwards movement started. Oh, we don't need the alternate here. We want to have the primary labeling there. Nothing changed, so we're still waiting to see if we indeed will have a bounce here, or if our patterns become invalid if we break the 831, which would be the point to consider either to hold further down to the 78.6 retracement or to get out of the position. Overall, however, based on the overall pattern, nothing changed. We still believe that the 831 mark here marks the end of the correction and that we're now in the next 5-wave impulse. Might be that this is some kind of diagonal impulse, then it would be 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves. So then we would still, however, reach our target areas, BNet target area 1419 to 1977. So we should still reach our target areas, but we'll have to wait and see. Grab is retracing a little bit, so I think they got a bank downgrade if I read it correctly somewhere. Again, time will now tell if this will be a 3-wave corrective move and we go down from here, in which case the $50 call option that I have will eventually turn worthless. Or if this is just now basically some kind of wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get wave 5 further up. So to be certain about the further upwards move, where this would be a big wave 1, 2, and then we are in wave 3, we would need to break the, where do we have it? That one, the 781. Our prediction, however, stays unchanged because we in Grab still believe that 942 to 1088. So where do they come? The 261 levels are the ones we're going for. Again, unless it turns into a corrective pattern, then we would go down here. But again, I believe that this might mark the bottom, and from here we now get actually a bullish or an impulsive wave pattern in the upwards direction. Moving on to immersion, probably unchanged. Yes, we're still waiting and dancing around here at this 61.8 retracement level. Would be time to slowly, is that point lower? That's 822, and here we were to 817. So this could potentially be the first wave 1, 2. That would then, we're looking at a weekly chart, so in the next couple of weeks we could get stronger upward movement, or by the end of the year we should see if we're wrong. Yeah, so I think right now still prime entry point. However, risk reward ratio, one would have to put the stop loss at 594, which is around 25% risk. Whereas on the other hand, the reward would be around 100% plus. So not the best, not the worst risk reward ratio. Cost similar, so we're still waiting, and we're waiting for quite some time, even though we're looking at a daily chart, to either break the low at 652 or break the high at 879. And we keep dancing between those areas, but eventually we should get a break of one of those two that confirms then correction over. Up we go, or correction not over, next stop 61.8% retracement. NEO, we have our guesstimate, or not our estimate there on the chart. NEO we actually got right quite nicely, or quite often so far, although once, partially wrong in quotes, or not even partially wrong here. I mean, I pointed out that it's possible that the correction finished here, but that visually it doesn't look like it has. Actually we are on track with NEO quite well. So again, in my opinion, we finished the correction here, and we should now make our way up into the target area of, did we write it down, 681 to 904, slowly as a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to finish this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wave impulse pattern. So there is also 50 to 100% upside, with the stop loss would need to be at 368. So what's that? 30% risk. So yeah, also not the best risk reward ratio, but it is what we have. Novavax again, looks like this might be marked the bottom for wave 4, and we're now getting our wave 5. Right now, entries, I mean, best would have obviously been down here, but are still not that bad. Stop loss would need to be at the low at 681. Take profit could be in the area of 2297 to Did we write it down here? Oh no, here we have 808, 772, huh? What? Am I in the 820? That's the current price. I think either you or I made a mistake here, because you see that we have written down here 437, which looks like it's the price from NEO that mistakenly got entered here. And because that was our downwards prediction that we go to 808 or 772, that already happened. So we hit 772, and 772 was probably this expansion here or not? Or it was 761. But yeah, that already happened. I will just update the Novavax prediction. So our new prediction right now, the price, actually the prediction is already since we had hit the 681. Yeah, so I'm gonna, you can update it later. So for Novavax, our prediction is basically the 2297 to 4871. So that the correction finished and we go up from here. Yeah. And yeah, with that, let's check in on Ethereum. Do we actually get to, yeah, no, we got a almost new high here. So, but visually it already looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we didn't fully retrace the 38.2% here. Initially our assumption was like this. And based on this, we hit our perfect ABC target, but it didn't fully hit the unless we were only retracing this here. Yeah. So, not even then. Yeah. We didn't fully hit our target area of 38.2, but we had a perfect retracement here. However, because we didn't hit the 38.2, I actually thought it might be possible that we look at a bigger retracement like this, which is not the case. So it turns out that the retracement here is this, and then we are currently seeing the next potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and where here also we have potentially 1, 2, 3, either 3, 4, 5, and now we're retracing a little bit more, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So we should soon have a new all-time high in Ethereum. Yeah, so I got out of my little bit of ETH that I had, and some other things as well. Or I think we still have a little bit of Ethereum. I think, yeah, in some wallets, yeah. So I mean, fractional, yeah. So not fortunes, unfortunately, but still. So there should be a new all-time high soon. However, as a percentage, the moves are not that impressive. Bitcoin, yeah, like moving further up, again, similar thing. We have a 3-wave corrective move followed by 1, 2, which means we should now be, again, my assumption is wrong, or was here we only retraced 21.4%, which is most common levels are 38.2, 61.8, followed by 50, followed by 78.6, followed by 21.4. So it's the least likely retracement level, but it was the one that we hit here. And which means now we're looking at the next wave 1, 2, and then here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should soon hit the 100,000 mark, which would then potentially serve, or there we already were close to it, 99,500, which should then potentially serve for a slight correction, or we get a decent breakthrough before we correct. But yeah, there's more wiggle room up for Ethereum. And checking XYO, XYO is moving sideways. Visually, we might be at the bottom of the correction. By now, we've almost hit the 61.8 retracement, and visually we have our wave 1, 2, 3, 4. And even if that wave retraces still further, we should get a 5th wave up. So that's the important part here. However, that one, the profit targets for that, we already have to adjust. But it still is basically a bigger percentage increase than what we expect in Ethereum or in Bitcoin. Now, question is, real quick, do we have H&T here? That's something I wanted to look at. Yes, we have H&T as well. So just a second. There should be upward movement. No, there's downward movement short term. Okay. There was upwards movement, likely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Followed by, so just based on looking at this chart without looking at the bigger picture, we might be retracing this ABC. We hit these 38.2 up. No, we actually keep going a little bit further. So that would need to be ABC, ABC, and ABC. So potentially best guess would be this retracement here, which would mark the 50% retracement as a possible target, where we have here ABC. So I can actually add, oh, wait, wrong. This goes here, and then this here goes here, and then we just draw this one out. So that marks here 100% target, but yeah, so 50% retracement around $5 per H&T seems reasonable. Let's however zoom out. We don't have that much history, surprising. I mean, here we have a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we retrace in 3 waves. How much do we retrace here? Here we retrace 61.8%. It's just so surprising how often those price levels mark the end of a correction and suddenly we get the turnaround. Yeah, it's really, yeah, like people say the markets are random, but there are just so many repeating patterns that might not always turn out true, but often enough, you know, and it's really baffling. Yeah. So which means right now we might have here the next wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means we might now retrace here, maybe down to 5, maybe to 438, but then we should actually get the next upwards move here based on this pattern. Something to keep in mind. And yeah, anyway, moving on, DJT, Donald J. Trump Media and Technology. Yeah. So yeah, we actually expect it going up. So we have our targets for that on the chart. We're not invested in any way. So Intel, we don't have a projection because we're waiting for things to play out. We hit the minimum target for a correction here. So A, B, C, minimum target hit. If we go higher than 25.02, we would have kind of like additional confirmation that we likely are done with the correction and go further up, but no targets for us here. Nvidia slightly spiked and now we're tracing a little bit more. Looks like we're at a 3-wave move here and now we are in the next 5-wave move up. SMCI, yeah, basically turned around where we thought it would, actually at the 38.2 retracement. However, this is only the beginning of the correction, so we should now get something like ABC, or maybe that's only the first 5 waves for wave A, B, C. But based on what we right now have on the chart, on a daily chart, we would expect this. Best guess would be that we go short-term recover to 36, 46. So again, A, B, C playing out, and then we get our next 5 waves down and actually hit our profit targets. Tesla, we will not bother. SPY. Tesla should actually technically, or I mean, I said we will not bother, but technically should have finished wave 3. So with the election was here in May, or not even a wave 3, yeah. So, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction. Either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe we'll bother some other time with that. Do we have something obvious in SPY? In SPY, we also don't have a forecast on the chart, but it's probably rallying up from what it looks like if we get the chart to load. Seems like that's now working again. Okay, that chart's not loading right now, so we skip it. NDX, NASDAQ. Potential smaller upwards move, a little bit more correction. Question would be what we're correcting here. So we'll have to look at NQZ4. That should be the right chart. No. MNQZ. Do we get a chart? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Or not. Yeah, we get a chart. Okay, but it's monthly chart, so yeah, it's still hard to label with this strong move, followed by this, followed by that. So yeah, but visually this could be an unfinished correction. So it could be the first part, second part, third part. then this would need to be finished 5 waves, because then that would be the area of wave 4, and we would retrace down till here, 20,300. Yeah, we're not gonna write down the target area here because our overall prediction is much higher for the Nasdaq. So we actually expect it to go up further, because this should be a big wave 1, 2. So we should now get basically our wave 3 target, which was at NDX. Okay, we're not looking at the NDX right now, but based on the NDX, it would be 24,700. So again, there's a little bit of a difference, of the current price of NDX and the futures. So, but yeah, that's that. And then what else do we have? Amazon, there we have a projection on the chart, which actually is super bullish right now. It might be that I was too hasty with marking this as wave 3 target. Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't change anything on the bullish outlook. It just means that instead of this being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it means that would be 1, 2, 3, and now we would get the retracement. So while it's possible that we retrace down to even as low as 124, it would then just change our target areas a bit, because then we would get this prediction here that then our 5th wave should still bring us up above 215 to 300 again. So I get that it lowers the target areas if we are turning out to be wrong here. However, even so, the most likely scenario, if this is the wave 3 endpoint and not this here, would be that we retrace to 150, in which case our target areas stay almost identical. They actually get a bit higher, because then it's like 267 to 377. So we can leave our labeling for now like this and wait for it to see how it plays out. We're looking at a weekly chart, so things take time. If this is, however, not, so if we're right, then this is wave 3, wave 4, then this will potentially be the first wave, and then we only might retrace down to 182 around roughly, and from here then make our way further up. So while right now might not be the best entry point, yeah, I'm still long-term bullish on Amazon, even though we don't have any exposure there. And I think with that, actually, we have it for today. There are a few things, we currently have a lot of things internally going on about like video production and social media stuff and so on. So there are a few things that I would like to do with the stream. So for example, focus on, I don't know, review some heavily shorted stocks every day, and utilize my damn 8-ball more often. I always forget that it's here. Yeah. Will I forget next time that I have an 8-ball on my desk? My reply is no. That's the first time where the 8-ball doesn't agree with me, because I really think on Monday I will again forget that it's right there in front of me. But yeah, it's work in progress. Obviously, you can always share your feedback, what you would like to see more or less on the stream, and just leave comments down below. You know, join our Discord community, share it there in our investment and trading channel. Yeah, but outside of that, I think that's it for the week. It's going to be interesting. So let's actually quickly, last thing to do today, circle back to GameStop. And I think we're at a 4-hour chart going on. Yeah. So yeah, not much movement so far. So we'll have to wait and see. Visually, this could be already ABC, finished correction, and we are building the next upwards move. But this could also only be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we get away 5. Then we get ABC, and then we retrace further. So it's possible that somewhere on the more detailed labeling here that I have a mistake in there. Yeah, do your own research, as said. I think, so long term, I'm still bullish. Short term, the question is just basically, did I play it right, and will I get my January 17th options, so those here, to expire worthless, to pocket basically the almost, it's almost $3,000 in premium or not for those options. So 481 times 6, yeah, so almost $3,000. Although for wait, GameStop, make sure, yeah, GameStop for January 17th, so for 56 days, so for 2 months, obviously before taxes and whatnot. So that would, I think, be the perfect scenario. The worst case scenario obviously is that GameStop rallies much lower, because then even getting that much premium, we on the other hand lose on the shares. Yeah. So if it goes till here, then so if it falls till 23, then we basically lose with the shares what we gained with the premium, and that's not considering taxes yet. And if it would go lower, then things start to look, yeah, temporarily worse. Long time, I'm still bullish. It's going to be the most important thing to watch. The streams, yeah, like they get a little bit more boring if we don't have strong movements and our position is tied up here. Sadly, I mean, we also have 100 shares in NEO, for example, but there's no point in selling options to get, I don't know, 7. I mean, let's check the NEO chart real quick. Yeah, I mean, everything sums up. Yeah, but yeah, we expect it to go up from here, and that could happen relatively fast with strong moves. So even if I sell a 550 call, I risk to have my shares called away at 550 for $7 or $6 actually. I mean, that's just not making any sense. Yeah, I mean, one option would be if I be more confident in that might actually work. Yeah, so here we have August to 1 month, and then here we have also roughly 1 month, and then here we have October to November, so also no, actually November 20, almost 2 months. And then this last move, if we say here is November 20th, so December 20th, so January 20th. So we would assume that our fifth wave, if we are right, is finished in December. So we could sell the $10 because that's, or $9.50 if there is. There is $10. Okay, so we can actually sell. Yeah, should have done that sooner. So strategy builder, NEO, January. Oh no, that's 27. Okay, so no, never mind. Yeah, so if we, so that would be 2 years out. That's also not worth it. Like collecting $100 in premium in January 17th. Yeah, there it's $5 premium if we sell that call. So it's like, and if it rallies higher than I expect, then we miss out on profit. So it's really not worth it. Yeah, and for betting towards 2017, it's also not worth to get like a 20% return in 2 years. With the risk we have to hold the shares then, and with the risk of it going much higher because we are currently planning till January. So yeah, so NEO doesn't make sense to write calls. We also have shares in cost. There are no options, and then we have Green Wave is basically no options and is worthless at the moment. Yeah, so we see that we are looking at an almost total loss. SunPower is a total loss because they declared bankruptcy, so eventually those shares should just disappear or not. I don't see why I would have to close them out. So that's all we could. Barnes & Noble would be interesting, but there we need to increase our position first, which means we have to wait for stronger upward movement in GameStop to have our shares called away, or until January to have the options expire worthless, so we can write new options that again pay us cash that we can then use to increase our Barnes & Noble position. So we have 100 shares, so we can write options against it. But even there, we can see there seems to be no volume for the call options, surprisingly. So at least for the higher priced ones, yeah. So it might be hard to get a buyer for the option or get an accurate price for the option, because if we what would be our price target for BNet? BNet would be 15 to 20, so we would actually need to sell this one, and then we can see that it's like $40 credit. Not sure. So anyway, we'll have to keep an eye on GameStop. Looks like it's right now moving up a little bit based on my daily profit and loss balance or not. Yeah. So yeah, so maybe or maybe not, we'll get to see another push. As I shared earlier. Anyway, so sorry for dragging this out longer than it has to be without adding any new information in the last couple of minutes of the stream. Yeah, feel free, or how do I say that? Yeah, so feel free, as said, to provide feedback, what you would like to see more, what you would like to see less. I'm open for ideas. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I wish you all a pleasant rest of the day and a pleasant weekend. And we then see each other again on Monday, 5 minutes before. No, wait. Nasdaq holidays. There was one there were some in November. So does it happen to be November 28th? Okay, so not next Monday, but next Friday or not? I don't know, like Thanksgiving. So maybe next Thursday or so. So next week, there's a day where the market is closed, 28th and 29th, or 28th it's closed and 29th it closes early. So we'll have to consider that. But again, then see you Monday, 5 minutes before market open, and have a great weekend. Till then, bye-bye.